Hello, all. I wanted to continue my bachelor's degree discussions. This is part two. On the first one, I discussed a lot about translating your bachelor's degree, getting into a bachelor's degree program that was going to translate into being able to get into the workforce. But this time, I want to discuss psychology bachelor's degrees versus social work bachelor's degrees because I know that there's still a lot of misconception about getting a bachelor's degree in psychology. And I know a lot of people think that, oh, when I get my degree, my bachelor's degree in psychology, I'm going to be able to get out and I'm going to be able to be a counselor. I'm going to get out and I'm going to be a psychologist. And that's just not the case. There's no license or certification that you can get with a bachelor's degree in psychology. Now, I take that back. You possibly can become a certified family life educator because I know that with that certification, they require a bachelor's degree and they require, like, I think some practicum experience and a test and so on and so forth. However, I mean, you can't really. I mean, I'm sorry to say. I mean, you're not going to probably be able to find a job as a CFLE, as a certified family life educator with a bachelor's degree in psychology. I don't even know how many certified family life educator positions there are out there. And I'll probably do a video about what a certified family life educator is. But anyway, that's besides the point. There's nothing that you can really do in terms of getting a license with a bachelor's degree in psychology. However, with a bachelor's degree in social work, you can actually become a licensed bachelor social worker. You can get your license as a social worker at the bachelor's level. After you complete your bachelor's degree, you do your practicum experience and then you take your exam. Now you can get jobs with a bachelor's degree in psychology, but they're going to be tough to get because it's very competitive. You'll probably get a job as probably a case manager somewhere where your caseloads are high, or a service coordinator position, something like that. But again, they are competitive. Now, with a license in social work at the bachelor's level, that does give you a little bit of it gives you a leg up on those who are probably competing for those sorts of case management and service coordinator positions. Also, it may take a little bit more in terms of work for a bachelor's degree in social work due to the practicum element, but again, you're getting a license. Now, I'm not exactly sure how many licensed bachelor social worker positions there are anymore, since so many people are going back for their masters and even doctorates in social work. But these are typically Bachelor of Arts or Bachelor of Science degrees. Typically, it's going to be about 100 to 125 hours, just depending on the curriculum and in the school and all of that stuff. But I would say this: if you are wanting to become a psychologist, say for instance, you're gonna have to either get a master's in psychology and then go on to the doctorate level, or you're going to have to get into a program with a strong research emphasis, or you're going to have to become like a undergraduate research assistant or something like that, so that you'll be able to apply at the bachelor's level into the doctorate program. But if you simply get a bachelor's degree in psychology and then you try to get into a doctorate program in psychology and your grades are mediocre, you don't have any research experience, then you're going to have to go ahead and get that master's degree in psychology and then move on to a doctorate in psychology. At the social work level, I know that there are some programs where you can move on and get your bachelor's degree in social work, and then you can apply directly to a doctorate program in social work. However, I don't think it's as open like that as it is for psychology. I think that they tend to want you to go ahead and get your master's in social work before you move on to that doctorate, because you can go ahead and you can get your license as a licensed master social worker or a licensed clinical social worker. And then, you can go ahead and move on to the doctorate level. Now, in some cases, as I said, you can move on to the doctorate level or you can apply to a doctorate program in social work and then probably gain a master's en route to the doctorate in social work. But I would say that if you are wanting to already be able to counsel or at least do some sort of, counseling at the bachelor's level, I would say go ahead and get a bachelor's degree in social work. Now, the great thing about it is that when you get a bachelor's degree in social work, that also you can also utilize that to apply to doctorate programs in psychology. Now, that doesn't typically happen the other way around, though. Like getting a bachelor's degree in psychology doesn't necessarily translate into you being able to get into a doctorate program in social work. I don't know why that is. I'm just not sure. I'm going to have to go do some research on that. But I think, in my opinion, social work bachelor's degrees are a little bit more valuable than psychology bachelor's degrees. Also, I think that more people are going to get psychology bachelor's degrees than they are social work degrees. So there are going to be a little bit less people getting a social work bachelor's than there are people that are getting a psychology bachelor's. So that I think that getting a bachelor's degree in sociology is it gives you a little bit of a leg up than individuals who get a bachelor's degree in psychology. It seems like now a lot of people are getting bachelor's degrees in psychology. And again, that's not a problem at all. But you definitely have to have a goal in mind when you are trying to get that bachelor's degree in psychology. Please understand that you cannot become a psychologist with a bachelor's degree in psychology. You have to have a doctorate in psychology. Now, let me say this. At the master's level with a master's in psychology, if the coursework matches up with state requirements, you can become a licensed psychological associate. However, I don't know if that license is offered in all of the 50 states, but it is offered in some states that I know of. So you can look into that. If you don't want to go any further than being a licensed psychological associate, then I say, hey, go ahead and stop there. But if you want to be able to be an actual psychologist, then you have to be a doctor. You have to get your doctorate. You have to get your PhD or your PsyD. I think that also there are so many jobs for social workers out there. There are so many jobs for licensed clinical and licensed master social workers. Licensed clinical social workers can also work in private practice. Licensed psychological associates, I believe they can, but I think that there are restrictions. I think it's harder to get into private practice as a licensed psychological associate than it is a licensed clinical social worker. So keep that in mind as well. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up, guys, but I just wanted to come on and continue my discussion on bachelor's degrees. This is the second part. Please check out my first part where I talked about bachelor's degrees in the workforce. I'm going to come back with more discussions about bachelor's degrees, so stay tuned for that.